How's it, everybody? Welcome back to the Nomasburg region. Sanctum Gamer here. It's episode 13, and we are starting off with the fish market and the fish industry. In the last episode, we built the fish harbor, and since then, the harbor has actually been overflowing with fish. So I figured I would start this episode with the market and the industry and have a lot of the fish that is being caught basically sent out here, and hopefully the town will start making a little bit more money from it. Now, even though there's these two buildings to take the fish off of the fish harbor's hands, so to speak, I still find that the industry itself is still overflowing with fish. Basically, it always gets full and it doesn't have enough buyers. So at some point, I need to put down probably another fish harbor or another fish market, but I'll see where I'll put that. I'll probably blend it in with something else that I am building, but with the aim of it taking the fish and basically get the industry to stop complaining so much. Also, there is no public transport whatsoever in this town, so I've put down the bus depot with the aim of setting up bus routes at some point. I'm not going to be doing it in this episode. At the time of recording this, I think I just finished recording the next episode, but I still haven't put this down yet because the town itself is not complete. So I am waiting to complete the town, and once the town is done, we'll put down a bus route. So we'll try and put down something to connect all the different areas of this town itself, and then also connect it up to Driftwood and Gizerton, which we built earlier on back in episodes, 1 through 5 or something like that. The main point of this area though is I wanted this to be a bit more developed. Because this is the main town center, I wanted to have a few apartment style buildings, but nothing too hectic. I didn't want like a ton of apartments like you would find in a big city, but just one or two to show that this area underwent massive development. I mean, in a real town, a place like this would be very high value, so you would think a lot of people want to stay closer to this area, and so development here would generally have taken place with a few more modern apartment blocks and stuff. And that's my reason for putting a couple of these down. And also because this place is a whole lot more developed, I wanted to put down quite a few amenities as well. We'll get back to that. But right now, as it stands, this actual town has no hospital, no fire station, no police station, none of those things. And when I first started this episode, there were people getting sick like left, right, and center. I think my health, the average health had dropped to something like 50%, if not even less. And I noticed that a lot of these industries that get placed down are actually polluting the land. So all these apartments that were sitting around this fish industry were just getting filled with sick people. So I got a mod to remove all of that because that's not really my focus. But at the same time, I also wanted to put down the fire stations, the police station, as well as the hospital, just to cater for any sick citizens that will come up. So I just got the ground pollution remover, I think, just so that the ground is clear. But other than that, everything else is basically being handled and being catered for. There were fires that were just happening left, right, and center. I think because the education is also not that great because it's no university anyway. So fires would often tend to just sprout out of nowhere. So I put down this fire station here. And the main reason for me putting it down here also is this area is kind of central to the entire town. And I would like to think that in the development of this town, it would have started from somewhere around here when the rebuild basically began, following the fires that destroyed it initially, and that is as per the story of the last episode. So this area kind of became the focal point of the town. These amenities came up, and as a result, the immediate area boomed, since value and land value in this area would have gone up as a result. So everything is kind of centralized around this. Around here is a lot of the apartments, a lot of the commercial areas, and yeah, it's just basically a classic town center. So right behind this hospital, just to kind of support that story or that idea, we've got these apartments that I decided to put here, slightly denser residential spaces, but nothing too hectic, nothing like what you would find in the big cities, but apartments nonetheless. And to make sure the citizens here have a place to go to and just relax, I thought I would put down a park. Initially I'd wanted to put down some apartments, but that just made the whole area look too crowded, so I decided to put down a little park here instead. And then here we've got, what is this, the cruise ship terminal. So the town is currently connected to the outside world via bus with the intercity bus terminal. It's connected via rail, and the only two that are missing is by water and by air. So I thought I would put down this ship terminal here. I love this asset. I use this asset in, I think, Little Town, if I remember right. I think it's an awesome asset. It serves the purpose perfectly well. And then around here I just wanted this, and this is not a key, what's this called again? It's a dike. I wanted this dike to look like it was put there on purpose, again to protect the immediate buildings that sit on the land around here. So because it's been here for as long as it has, it is also quite overgrown, and that's why I make it all this. I put down all of these trees and bushes. I then put down a couple of people park generators on it because I wanted the place to come alive a bit. I figured the people that live around here, with this dike as big as it is, people would want to just go sit, relax, and enjoy like the nice, river breeze, or just sit there looking out into the river and just relaxing. So this people here, or this community, basically maximized the space, and because the dike is there, it means that all the water that is trapped between the dike and the actual land would be much calmer. So they would convert this place into an area where they could go and hang out. They can go for swims, maybe boat, I don't know, river rafting happens elsewhere, but just a place where they can chill and relax and go for a swim because the river is nice and calm. So for that I put down a couple of umbrellas just to show that people go and just relax and just be happy around there. And because this area is also close to the river, I try to make it a lot greener, and that's why these areas are, the whole map is green, but I try to make the area specifically around the water much denser in foliage, just to speak to that point of the ground here being more fertile, being or being more conducive for a lot of tree growth. Now we just decorate out this place a little bit with just a couple of tree and bush assets. I think this asset is already so nice, so you don't have to really do too much to actually get it to look even better than it already does. And then a couple of shops and cafes in and around it. I think it makes sense that around a place like this, people would have a place where they could sit, relax, buy some foods and eat and just chill. Now, I mentioned earlier that I don't have a lot of public transport, and I wanted to get a tram into this. And getting the tram in here actually came from a comment that somebody left on one of my previous videos when I built the big roundabout that is in this town. Somebody made a comment saying that they would love to see a tram running through that roundabout. And that idea really stuck with me. So I looked at how I could plan out the transport routes to include a tram, just so that I can have a tram running through that big roundabout. So whoever you are that left that comment, thank you very much for it, because it stuck with me. And hopefully soon, in fact not hopefully soon, in the next episode or two, we'll set out the entire tram track and connect up all the way out to the edge of this town. So the plan is to run the tram coming through here, through this main center, and then out into the surrounding suburbs. And then just off of this main avenue, a couple more shops, but I wanted this area to also be quite heavily residential, but not any big apartments or anything. One or two places will be under development or would have undergone development, but still keeping the majority of this place low density. And another thing is, I really wanted to keep this the bike lanes going. So as much as possible, I tried to build bike paths. And I noticed that as I build them, the people or the Sims are actually using it, so it's good. I always thought if I built these bike paths, nobody would actually use them. But I guess the reason nobody ever used them before was because I built like one bike lane, and then all of a sudden I expect every Sim to be using it, which wouldn't make sense, because if they don't connect up and actually take the Sims somewhere, then it wouldn't make sense for them to use it. But as I'm connecting up all of these bike paths, I'm finding a lot of the Sims are using it, which is really good. I'm hoping that once the public transport infrastructure is also set up, we'll have fewer cars on the road, because I really want to see a lot of industry trucks actually driving around here. So they would be bringing in all the produce in and around the region to this harbor to be exported. Initially, I did not think there was going to be this much industry's traffic flowing through here. But as all of this is shaping up, I'm seeing that it's going to make logical sense for that to happen. So depending upon how the traffic situation pans out, we might come back to this town and rework a couple of the road layouts just to support heavier traffic. But we'll see. I want to see how things shape up. I do want a little bit of traffic in and around this town as well. I mean, a little traffic is not too bad. So yeah, let's see how it goes. And then here, it's sports grounds for this town. If you recall, back in episode 11, I mentioned that I was going to build some sports ground across from on the other side of this avenue. These are basically those sports grounds. So a nice large soccer field, some tennis courts, and some smaller ones just for the community to enjoy. The local school will probably also make use of this as well. So yeah, it's a place of fun. I think this is pretty much everything for this build. Around here, we'll just finish it all off with a few more residential areas as we basically start moving away from this town center out into its outskirts again. So in the next episode, we'll basically continue this expansion, continue the tram network, and then also continue the residential areas. All right, that's everything for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And I will catch you all in the next one. Cheers.